Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to look at the topic, the time value of money. Money has a time value. We need to understand that the money we obtain today has more value than what we may get at some other time in future. The reason being that the money that we get today has a potential earning capacity. And this is due to the fact that you can invest that money to make more money. You can invest it to multiply it. So if you get your money today, then it's possible for you to reinvest it and make more money out of it, other than if you're promised to get it in the future. What are the elements of the time value of money? The first one is the number of time periods. So in calculating the time value of money, you need to take into account the number of time periods. Then you also look at the annual interest or discount rate. So you're going to look at the interest rate, and you also need to look at the discount rate. Then you look at the present value and the future value. So you make use of the interest rate or the discount rate to calculate either the present value or the future value. And lastly, you also look at the payments, if at all they exist. So we may be looking at annuities or perpetuities. So depending on what kind of payment you're looking at, you need to take into account that as well, if at all those payments are there. Now, why is it important that you get your money today than get it tomorrow? One, the money that you get today can be used to meet your needs at that same time. So other than waiting for money to be given to you in future, you're going to get this money today and you're going to use it. And the second point is that it can be invested to grow it. So once you have your money, like I alluded to when I was just beginning, it's possible for you to reinvest that money. And when you reinvest that money, of course, it's going to grow. You're going to make more profit and hence multiply the amount of money that you're going to have. So you may invest, it can be in bonds, it can be in stocks, it can be in treasury securities, or you can just start a business and then you make more money as you do or conduct that business. The third reason is you want to avoid the erosion of purchasing power. Now we know that when money is kept for a long time, it tends to lose its value. And this is because of the effect of inflation. So you find that if you are able to buy a number of items today, when you keep that same amount of money for some time and you want to buy, say maybe next month or in the next 6 months, or even next year, then what is going to happen is that what you are buying today is going to be different from what you are going to buy in future. So in future, you're likely to get less than what you get today, because inflation has a tendency of eroding the value of money or the purchasing power of money. Then the last reason is that we normally avoid exposing ourselves to unnecessary risk. Generally, as human beings, we are risk averse. We do not want a situation where we're exposed to risks anyhow. So just the effect of waiting, that is for you to wait in order to get the money that you need to have. There's a possibility that anything can happen and you may not get that money. So that already is a risk. So as human beings, we tend to avoid that. So it's better you have your money today than have it tomorrow. Let's look at compounding. Compounding simply refers to the impact of time or the time value of money over multiple periods of time, that is in the future. So you're looking at the interest. What effect is it going to have on the value of your money, okay, over an extended period of time in future. So essentially what happens is that you have to add the interest, the principal that you have, or to the original amount of money that you have. So essentially, that is what compounding is all about. So interest is added to original amount. That is when you're compounding. And we need to understand that the reason why banks pay you interest when you save money with them is because they want to compensate you for saving rather than spending the money. And the focus of compounding is on the future value. So what we are saying is, the money that I have today, if I'm to invest it, or if I'm to put it in a bank, how much is it going to be, maybe after a certain number of years? So that is what compounding focuses on. It focuses on the future value of the money that you have today. So it's forward-looking in its approach. Okay? So you're going to be adding the interest depending on the period when interest is added to the principal. And then what you're going to get at the end of the day, that will be the future value of the money that you originally saved or invested. So that is how it works. And that is what is referred to as compounding. How about discounting? Discounting is simply the process of converting a future amount of money to its present value. So what we're interested in under discounting is the present value. So you're saying you already know what you're going to get maybe after 5-10 years. Now you want to compare what you get after 10 years with what you're going to get today. Or in other words, you want to convert that amount in today's terms. You want to invest, you've done your projections, and you know how much you're going to get after a certain period of time. Now, how are you going to know the value of that amount in today's terms? So for you to do that, you need to convert that amount, the future amount, into the present amount. So that is what the process of discounting is. So it's just the opposite of compounding. Then what we need to know is that whereas in compounding you add the interest, in discounting you remove the interest, or you subtract the interest, so that you get the original amount that you invested, or you get the present value, so to say. Now this has an effect of allowing one to compare the future amounts, okay? Because you're going to get the present values of the various future amounts, and then you'll be able to compare them in present terms.